Y'all, the Hollywood tea is scalding today. After years of their so-called bromance, Hugh is done pretending that Reynolds' bullying is just friendly banter, and he's exposing how Ryan has been terrorizing everyone from makeup artists to co-stars to directors. And get this, Ryan's nasty behavior isn't just limited to Hugh. He's been throwing tantrums, making career-ending threats, and showing his true colors behind the scenes while maintaining his nice guy image. But what exactly did Ryan do that was so horrible? Why has Hugh finally decided to speak out? Let's get straight to the nastiest part. Ryan Reynolds thinks he can just fire people whenever they don't bow down to him. According to a shocking revelation from Fox News, Reynolds once threatened to end a makeup artist's entire career because they weren't available for reshoots. As the insider revealed, Ryan Reynolds threatened to fire the makeup artist off the rest of the film and the reshoot they had to do, and also said, "If you don't come back and do my makeup, you will never work in Hollywood again." This is straight-up career blackmail. His makeup artist was literally out of the country working on another project, and Reynolds acted like they personally insulted him by having a life outside of serving him. What's worse, the studio executives were powerless to do anything about it. The source confirmed. Fox executives were frustrated, but they had no choice but to comply because Reynolds had already taken full control of the movie. This is exactly the kind of power-hungry behavior that screams insecurity. But this toxic pattern didn't just start recently. It's been Ryan's MO for years. Hugh Jackman, who's worked closely with Reynolds during Deadpool and Wolverine, has been on the receiving end of this controlling behavior throughout their professional relationship. And while Hugh initially played along with the fake feud narrative, sources say he's completely done with Reynolds' behind-the-scenes antics. One insider revealed that Jackman is set to be deposed in the ongoing legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, which has Reynolds nervously looking over his shoulder. Hugh will be deposed if this goes to trial. There is no way that he cannot. This is huge because Hugh knows where all the bodies are buried. He's been around Ryan for years, and now he might be legally obligated to tell the truth about what he's seen. Ryan's controlling behavior isn't limited to makeup artists. He's also rumored to have pushed out Tim Miller, who directed the original Deadpool movie. Miller didn't return for the sequel. Why? Because Ryan wanted complete creative control. As Miller himself admitted, it became clear that Ryan wanted to be in control of the franchise. "You can work that way as a director quite successfully, but I can't." So here's where things get messy. Ryan now has full creative control of Deadpool, and fans have spotted something interesting about the Nice Pool character. This is where Hugh Jackman gets dragged into the mess. As Wolverine, he had to stand by while Reynolds used their movie as a personal vendetta platform. If Nice Pool was meant to mock Baldoni, then everyone on set knew it. Hugh was forced to participate in what was essentially workplace bullying disguised as comedy, and sources say he was deeply uncomfortable with this. But because Reynolds had taken full control, Hugh had no choice but to go along with it or risk being iced out himself. But Reynolds doesn't just terrorize people behind the camera. His co-stars have been getting the same toxic treatment. Take Marina Baccarin, who played the female lead in the first Deadpool movie. Notice how she was basically sidelined in the sequel? That wasn't a coincidence. Instead of handling creative differences professionally, Reynolds completely erased her from promotional materials. Someone close to production said, "Ryan thinks she's overbearing, so she's basically grounded." This is straight-up retaliation, showing exactly how Reynolds treats people who dare to disagree with him. And Marina wasn't the only one. TJ Miller, who played Weasel, came forward about Reynolds' nasty behavior, saying Ryan was genuinely mean to him and not in a joking way.
But I think after he got super famous from the first Deadpool, then things kind of changed. I think he was like, "See, you guys see?" And then I think I don't know. I mean, would I work with him again? No.
No.
I would not work with him
That
again.
much vitriol.
Miller described a humiliating incident. Ryan would belittle him in front of the entire crew, making it clear that TJ was just a side character and not important. He was like, "Yo, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie." This is classic bullying behavior.
And I think it's weird that he hates me. And
Well,
I think some
do
people...
do you know he hates
We
you?
had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, "Let's do one more take." And everyone was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me. But to me.
He uses his position of power to put others down and make them feel small. Hugh Jackman likely witnessed this behavior firsthand, and while he initially remained quiet, sources say he's been increasingly uncomfortable with how Reynolds treats their colleagues. Hugh maintains relationships with many industry professionals while Reynolds keeps burning bridges. Speaking of burned bridges, let's talk about Jake Gyllenhaal, another former best friend who apparently can't stand Ryan anymore. These two used to be inseparable, but something dramatic happened, and now Jake won't even talk about Ryan. During a recent interview, Gyllenhaal acted icy when asked about Reynolds and shut down any questions about their friendship. This isn't normal behavior between friends. The situation likely stems from their time working together on the 2017 film Life. After that project, their friendship mysteriously ended, and many believe Jake saw Ryan's true colors during filming. Another actress from that movie, Rebecca Ferguson, spoke about having a terrible experience with an unnamed co-star who was insecure and angry. All signs point to Reynolds.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out.
The situation got so bad that Ferguson refused to even act with this person anymore.
This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with, what is this?" And I would cry walking off set.
But then she finally stood up for herself.
The next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set. You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again." I was so scared. I feel...
While Ferguson never named names, the timeline and cast list make it obvious who she meant. And Hugh Jackman has likely witnessed similar behavior firsthand. Remember that cringy promotional skit for It Ends With Us? Hugh was roped into that mess and forced to play along with Reynolds' mockery of Baldoni. In the clip, Hugh delivered lines clearly meant to bully Baldoni.
No. It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife, and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate.
Holy shit.
I've never done an interview before, but I've done a lot of things, like crazy things in Australia. You do understand you can't even get into preschool unless you take a person's life with your own bare hands. Twice.
Totally.
So listen, I've just got one question. What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
And the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate? Holy. I've never done an interview before, but I've done a lot of things, like crazy things. In Australia, you do understand you can't even get into preschool unless you take a person's life with your own bare hands. Twice. Totally. So listen, I've just got one question. What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife? This put Hugh in an extremely uncomfortable position. He was being used as a weapon in Reynolds' personal vendetta against Baldoni, all while a movie about domestic abuse was being overshadowed by childish drama. Hugh was also pressured to attend the It Ends With Us premiere, a movie he had nothing to do with, just to support Reynolds and Lively. Meanwhile, Baldoni was reportedly being kept in the basement and forced to arrive early to avoid interaction with the Reynolds Lively camp. Hugh was unwittingly made complicit in this power play, and sources say he deeply regrets it. This brings us to the breaking point. Hugh just learned he might be deposed in the legal battle. This puts Hugh in an impossible position. Either tell the truth about Reynolds' behavior and end their friendship, or lie under oath to protect Ryan. Hugh is reportedly furious that Reynolds' actions have put him in this situation. What's become clear is that the charming, funny Ryan Reynolds we see in interviews is just a carefully crafted persona. Behind the scenes, he's reportedly insecure, controlling, and vindictive. Even his ex-wife Scarlett Johansson has hinted at this, describing him as passive-aggressively jealous. His other ex, Alanis Morissette, had similar things to say. After their breakup, she released an album inspired by their relationship, with telling lyrics in "You Ought to Know." If I just say it's true, I'm unbelievably insecure, really broken, devastated, then I can move through it. Notice a pattern? Insecure keeps coming up from people who know Reynolds intimately. That insecurity manifests as controlling behavior and bullying. Reynolds seems to target people who might overshadow him. His marriage to Scarlett Johansson apparently fell apart as her career was skyrocketing, and he quickly moved on to Blake Lively, who at the time wasn't really a threat to his ego. This same pattern shows up in his professional relationships. And now, as Hugh Jackman prepares to potentially testify about Reynolds' behavior, Hollywood is holding its breath. This comes at a bad time for Ryan, as Blake Lively is already embroiled in her own PR nightmare with the Baldoni lawsuit. What's interesting is that both Blake and Ryan face similar accusations, being controlling, difficult, and manipulative behind the scenes while maintaining perfect public images. As one insider put it, they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle. The couple's carefully curated image as Hollywood's perfect pair is crumbling. Hugh Jackman is moving on with his life. Following his separation from his wife of 27 years, he's been dating Sutton Foster, though some question whether this relationship is genuine or another PR move. What's clear is that Hugh is no longer interested in playing along with Reynolds' games. The bromance that once delighted fans has revealed itself to be toxic and one-sided, with Hugh finally seeing Ryan for who he really is. It looks like Ryan Reynolds' days of bullying coworkers and controlling sets might finally be ending, with Hugh potentially spilling the tea under oath and more co-stars speaking out about their negative experiences. The nice guy facade is crumbling fast. What do you think about these revelations? Are you Team Hugh or Team Ryan? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Hollywood tea. This drama is far from over, and we'll be here with all the updates.